I'm Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Wrestling, where I review wrestling-related things, all from the perspective of a fan, not an insider. And this week, I am finally going to review the fifth, and so far, last book of Chris Jericho. The Complete List of Jericho, by Chris Jericho, with Peter Fornatel and Alex Marvez. Yes, that Alex Marvez. Apparently he was very instrumental in fact-checking and stuff for this book. This book was okay. It's definitely worth having in your collection. If you're like me and you like wrestling biographies and stuff, then you are going to want this book in your collection. Most of this book reads like sports stats. Like, it was taken directly from Chris Jericho's own notebook binders that he would keep, listing every match he ever had, the number of match it was, the date it happened, always breaking them off into sections of what year it was, where it happened, city, state, country, how many stars he personally gave it, whether he won or lost, draw or no contest, of course who he was wrestling, and if it was for a title or something, he'd put that in parentheses, how he won or lost, or if it being a tag match of some sort, which one of them lost and to who. He'd even put the size of the crowd. As the book goes on, obviously the sizes of the crowds got bigger and bigger, especially being that his first match was for a crowd of 130 people. And then up until he got to his WWE years, how much he got paid for that match. And he even breaks them up into sections of his early days, going to Mexico, WCW, WWE, second WWE run, third, leading all the way to the last section, section 7, when he went to New Japan and AEW. Like I said, it did list his paydays that he would get for every match up until he got to WWE. At that point, it got taken away, which makes me wonder, is that because WWE's pay structure was so different than anything else? Because even in WCW, you made what you made, that was it, just your contract. WWE for the longest time was what you make is based on what you brought in, and then even when they started doing contracts, it was like, okay, well here's what you will make, guaranteed, but the better we do, the more you're going to make. So was it because of that, the confusing part of it, or it could be that I've heard rumors that WWE really doesn't like it when people share what they've made in WWE, and maybe he doesn't want to burn that bridge. I don't know. Then again, he didn't put that in even when he got to the New Japan All Elite section, so I don't know. But he did state in previous books that even though he never got the same guarantee he got in WCW, he never made less than 4 times the amount he made in WCW. Then again, that's always been one of the things that I thought WWE had right. In any kind of work situation, if all you're going to give is a bare minimum reward, then you're just going to get a bare minimum effort. If there's incentive, then they might actually work harder. But again, my problem with this, though, is that it really read like sports statistics, which is really hard to hold your attention. At least mine. I mean, it is interesting to see the kind of critic that Chris Jericho is on himself, considering an overwhelming majority of his matches he basically just rated as, were okay. Even ones that we probably looked at and went, that was amazing. He went, it was okay. Out of 3,000 matches, comparatively, there weren't a whole lot of 4 to 5 star matches that he ranked in this book. But then again, us fans would probably go through and rank it ourselves, and he'd have a lot more 4 and 5 star matches. The parts that would really grab my attention was there were parts where he'd mention the match and do the whole stat thing, and then have an in their words of the person he just wrestled. People like Jack Swagger, Dane Malenko, Brody Lee. He'd also have moments where he put his top 10 this or top 5 that, but let other people put their top 10 moments. People that he's been working with for a long time since WWE, and even people that he's only been working with recently in AEW, or wrestling journalists like David Meltzer. A lot of them got to put their 2 cents in here somewhere or another. And that was interesting, but overall, it wasn't his best book, just because it didn't grab my attention through most of it. There wasn't a lot of storytelling by Jericho himself, just mostly page after page of, here was my match, here's who I fought, here's who won or lost, here was the crowd, and that gets a little boring. So I would definitely not rank this as his best book that he's ever written. Out of the 5, I would actually rank it as probably the worst. But that is saying a lot, considering his previous 4 books were all excellent. They were all great, fascinating reads that were hard to put down. This one, not gonna lie, if you're actually gonna sit there and read all the statistics, it drags on and it gets a little bit hard to finish. However, if you just read the extras, like from the other wrestlers or his top 10 this and that, makes it a little bit easier to read, but just not as fascinating without the Chris Jericho storytelling that we're used to from his 4 previous books. Whereas I like having this in my collection, I really hope that this is not the last of the Jericho books. I would really love to get his more in-depth accounts of leaving WWE for New Japan and starting AEW. Like with his shoot interviews, there are like little stories in here from that, little snippets, but when you can actually get somebody to write a book about these experiences, you get the whole story, and it's just much more interesting in my opinion. However, for the Complete List of Jericho, I would easily still give this book a decent 3 out of 5. Yeah! So there you have it. That's my wrestling review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of the Complete List of Jericho. Tell me which one of the 5 Jericho books is your favorite. Love you guys.